Now, I know that many of you may play different than I do, but you know, this is kind of how I like to set up my game. So first we want to check. You know, I like to have the camera this way, but we like to. I like to at least keep away from you know, really clogging up the highway to start. So I want to check, and right here I'm kind of checking around where the water might flow. So I think they're going to flow down the river to the right and down the center. So I kind of have my city towards the center to start with, but then also try and get my things that would make noise like power and water supply, that sort of thing, away from my citizens, because they don't like noisiness, like no one does. So we start off with 70 grand. I don't really care too much about any of the DLC right now. I have the Dark Skies, Dark Falls installed, so we'll probably see some night changing at this point. But the Frost Skylines, whatever the heck it's called, the one with the snow, I do not have it installed. Or I have it installed, I do not have it enabled. So I know many of you that are purists think it's kind of a punk ass bitch to do, but I like to pause the game just to get everything laid out. So I mean, I grew up with SimCity and I like that game. But okay, so the water is going the direction that I thought it would. Okay, so now I gotta figure out where I gotta put the water treatment stuff. I want it relatively close to the start, because I don't want to be spending a ton of money on roads to begin with, but see what we got. So I'm gonna put this road close to the edge and try and get the road straight. Come on, somewhat straight, please. Okay, well, close enough. Get the road straight and now put my water treatment stuff in there. Okay, so I'm going to place that there. And now we got to deal with power. So I like to get that away from my residential area. And I typically start off with wind. Now, I know that wind doesn't produce a ton of power. And you also see, you know, some of the things I really like about City Skylines is they've really opened their game up for modders to take control. And you'll see some of the modded stuff and some of the additions in this game. Some of them are a little bit game breaking, and I don't really install those. The only one I install is the crematorium, so because I can't deal with that. But you'll see that blue area of influence. That's the noise area, and then once I don't really like that fill tool. I like to click and drag. But I start off with residential, and then we eventually have to get power to them. So I separate residential and industrial. And then you see that blue area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put power lines over so we can get the power to the people, so to speak, and get the power to the industry as well. Because they're not going to build if they don't have power. And that blue area, like I said, is where we would put or where the power's starting to go. So what I'm going to do, and you don't have to, and that's the really cool thing about this game. Once you build next to something that has power, that automatically has power. In SimCity, it just was constantly putting power lines down and blocking stuff and just making the city look like poo. And I really like this game. Once a section has power and I can build off of that, then we're going to continue to have more power. And we don't have to have power lines. So, same thing with roads. What I like to do is be really, really efficient on how I place water pipes as much as I can. Because then, you know, if you're not dealing with a bunch of, you know, every time I add a house or two, I have to be really careful of where I'm putting water pipes, or, you know, spending $100 to change it. I'm gonna pick the Santa hat, by the way. I don't like doing that. So if I, you know, have even coverage early, then I don't have to worry when houses are being added to constantly be looking at water pipes. Okay, reach a milestone. Yeah, I got it. All right, thanks. Okay, so we're gonna put some, let's see, maybe more residential down. Actually, I gotta look at, well, they're expanding. That's good. Okay. Let me pause this again. And maybe, well, oh, that was the problem. They weren't getting power. That's why they weren't saying that they had any water. Okay, so we have, eventually we can start doing taxes, but we have to have a big enough population to do that. I think it's 400. And now we should see the water need to go away. Now why is it not going away? Okay, they're still begging for water. So I'm gonna pause this, be a punk ass bitch, and maybe it's because they don't have sewage. I think that might be it. They don't have sewage. So, or a water drainage pipe. Water drainage pipe. So let me put this, oh no. Okay, that's not good. Okay, so the water's draining that way. So I don't have room to put it to the left of it. But if I put it to the right, it's going to drain into their water supply. So I really, can I can't pay $17,000 for that now. And there's no place over here that I can put it. So maybe can I relocate the water pump? Can I relocate it? Let me see. Yeah, I can. Okay. So relocate it. $500 isn't bad. So relocate it up a little. And then now try the water drainage pipe if I... Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put the... Can I please? 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 Okay. Alright. There we go. We're going to place it there. And now the pipes aren't connected. The pipes aren't connected. And this really bugs me when I have to move something and then screw up my whole system of efficiency of water pipes. Well, that's at least fixed. Okay. So now we have to change the power and extend it a little to make sure that that has power now. And okay. Now we're back to play and see if that water problem goes away. Anybody? Okay, cool. They're gone. So they no longer need water. So let me put some commercial to balance out everything. And at the bottom you see that there's the showing of need of residential and commercial and industrial. And you got to keep that in balance, but at the same time, sometimes the game really screws you and just asks for residential where you go, there's no more room while you're asking for more. So, I don't want to expand all the way there yet, so I'm not going to. But what I really like to do is sectionalize the cities and build off of it. So kind of create a small district, get that running well, and then piggyback and maybe make another water system. Like over on the right hand side, when I get my city big enough, over here I'll put another set of water treatment sort of situations, because if they're depending on the water and the power to pump from the left side of the city, it slows things down and then creates more of a headache for you later. So I kind of do pockets or districts of it. And right now I can't really play with any of the power percentage usage. Now, that's really cool because you can really fine tune what your city needs and what you're willing to give it to make it run efficiently. So let's see. I don't want to deal... The mistake I made early in some games were really messing up the entrance at the highway, because that gets clogged massively. So what I'm probably going to do is... I can't build out left, so I'm going to build out right. But you see that blue area that's being created by the roads? I don't really care about it here, but there's 2 blocks away. If you get the blue areas connected to, or with 0 space between your road and your old road, that's going to maximize the surface area that you can use for building houses and building apartments and that sort of stuff. And it's less of an issue in this game compared to SimCity. Not that I'm necessarily just ragging on SimCity, but it's going to happen throughout the series because they made a lot of stupid choices in the last SimCity game. One of them being the always online, but that's beside the point. And now we're complaining about power, okay, because that side of the city technically doesn't have any right now because I knocked out the power lines. Great. But SimCity gave you such a small building area and expected so much of you in that small building area that it was really, 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 really necessary to have that that every square inch is being used appropriately. So when I started playing City Skylines, it's not as necessary, but internally I say to myself, to be successful, every square inch of this has to be taken up effectively. Because the more effective you are and efficient you are in terms of playing out your city, the less cost you'll have on power lines permanently or temporarily. Same thing with water pipes and roads. So I really try and keep things looking nice and looking all together so that I don't have to deal with that crap later. Hoping that will help. Now, I'm not the best. I'm not great at this. But, you know, I try my best. I enjoy it. I definitely enjoy it. So another mistake is I put in my previous playthroughs crap over there, right close to the shore, and then that got clogged up, and then I couldn't expand the roads without taking some of my important factories away. So I'm not going to go anywhere near the shoreline with any roads at this point. I'm going to kind of build in, and obviously you want your industry as far away from your residence as you possibly can, but at the start of the game you can't really help yourself because you'll blow your budget just on roads, power lines, and water, all of those things early. So again, just like with the roads, I'm going to try and be efficient with how I lay out the pipe. That is, in fact, what she said. But, you know, not leave any gaps between them, but not majorly overlap them, because that would be a waste as well. I mean, it cost a fair amount for the sewage pipes and the water pipes, but if you're wasting it and, you know, having it cross over, or having, you know, 3 or 4 blocks worth of overlap, and they're 60 blocks long, that's going to add up. So I'm going to make sure it's even coverage, and then when I press play, it will go from brown saying no water to blue to indicating having water, which is a nice slick system that, if I recall, was kind of convoluted in SimCity, the new SimCity. So, yeah, this is going pretty well for the most part. So, I guess, this is the dark side of this game. I don't really want to do that. That's a little too close to the entrance from the highway, which I don't want to mess up right now, because that's a big problem if you mess it up. So I'm gonna actually go this way and build, which I like to keep things symmetrical, but I'm still gonna have a little, you know, extra piece here or there in terms of roads. So I'm gonna try and line this up correctly, and there we go. And go straight across again, but also not having too little overlap, that sort of thing. But I can't quite get it perfect. Come on. So there we go. Okay, so that's perfect. And stop being unhappy, you fools. And we're probably gonna put some more residents here because they're still needing more resident for their population thing down there. So let me pause it again. Why are we having 0 citizens? We have like 18,000 houses. Why is it 0? Is this a glitch? Is it because it's nighttime? Is there anybody in these houses? Hold on, let me check. There's nobody in these. There's nobody in these houses. Okay. Is it because the highway's not connected? Now let me do that. I don't think that's it. We got your on-ramps, your off-ramps, your southbound, your eastbound, down, load it up and truck it. I mean, it's all here. It's all here. Why are we not, What is going on here? Well, I guess we're just going to cross our fingers and hope everything works out. This is disturbing. Oh, okay. We have 27 people now. 47. They must have moved in at night. 77 and the other exit. But seriously, where are these people coming from? 97. I watched them on the highway. They didn't. Okay. 113. All right. Well, I guess our population's okay. So, again, trying to keep the noisy stuff away from the good old people of Westview. And I don't know. It's kind of cool how the mouse pointer, the mouse itself, is a little bit lighted during the evening. A little bit lit. Lighted. Lightened, or there's a light on it. It's cool though. Hello, Mr. Johnson. You haven't trimmed your tree in a while. I see you. This is Big Brother talking. Whoa. Okay. So, again, we're not going to deal with anything on the industry side at this point. They're asking for more, so we're probably going to expand it, but not too much further because we don't want to interfere with our residents. So we are not going to interfere with our residents. I don't like having that kind of area screwed up a little because of the power line. So what we're probably going to do, we're going to fill in that with commercial and that with residents. Now, if I remember correctly, that area that is unzonable right now will become zonable when the residents expand, when the households are happy enough and big enough, they start expanding to take up more room, which again is part of the reason it's crucial to be efficient in the way that you stack residents, but less efficient or less necessary in this game than SimCity, because there's no way that you can get high-rise buildings without being efficient in SimCity. So we're still losing money, but not as much, which is good. We're going to put some industry because they keep begging for it. One random, is that a hot dog driver? Who is that? I think it's a moving truck. I think it's really cool that this game also has specializations in in farming, in ore production, and oil production. Hey, look at that. Congratulations, Little Hamlet. Little Hamlet of Westview. Population of 400. So we can do taxes now and loans, which is nice, but now we have to deal with garbage, healthcare, and education. Again, I said this before, but you'll see some of the modded buildings, like the advanced elementary school, that I've downloaded, but they're not game breaking in my mind. They may just be cosmetic changes, or basically cosmetic changes is typically why I download them. And there are a few game breaking ones, like the crematorium is definitely game breaking. It can hold like 10,000 people and have like 25 hearses. Just because that's an aspect that I always fail at. So to keep the series running, I want to ensure that we don't fail in the first like 3 videos, because I want our Westview to be successful. So yeah, that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching the first part of our City Skylines series in Westview. And we really appreciate all the likes, comments, and subscribes you can give us, and all the followers on Twitter we got, and any suggestions you have for further change that. And any suggestions you have for future videos or future games for us to play, we certainly appreciate that. And yeah, just comment below, subscribe, just let us know that you like it so we can continue this series and other ones that we'll be bringing you in the future. Thanks.